You're listening to Kevin McCullough Radio, the home of breaking news as it happens, what it means, and why it matters. And we have breaking news.
Kevin McCullough, and here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Obliterating confusion.
Amplifying truth.
And pursuing clarity.
Kevin McCullough, now.
Well, if you ever thought that the presidency of Donald J. Trump was ever going to be boring, even for a day or a weekend, you were gravely mistaken. They have reshuffled the deck chairs once again, and we'll see who, when the music stops playing, lost theirs. Coming right back now, it's Kevin McCullough Radio.
Binge thinking.
Kevin McCullough.
Something interesting is happening with this.
Kevin McCullough, let me start with you.
I found this thing at townhall.com by Kevin McCullough.
The big dog has come out of nowhere.
Kevin McCullough,
I just want to help people think.
nationally syndicated radio host and author of No He Can't.
He's playing the role.
As well as anybody could.
Kevin McCullough is a nationally syndicated radio host and author of No He Can't.
The odds are he's right.
It's Kevin McCullough Radio.
Anthony Scaramucci is departing as the White House Communications Director. John Kelly, who is the new incoming chief of staff, requested to kind of clear the deck.
And evidently that deck got cleared. Kevin McCullough, welcome. Breaking news this afternoon, and the president is getting ready to address the country. We may hear some of what he has to say in a moment as well. But I wanted you to hear, that was John Roberts, who just walked off his White House perch to report that this is what's happened this afternoon. They have reshuffled the deck chairs once again. This time, Anthony Scaramucci, who had just joined the team in the White House 10 days ago, will now be packing his bags. Cut 7.
Anthony Scaramucci is departing as the White House Communications Director. Outside sources have confirmed what we already knew through other sources, that John Kelly, who is the new incoming chief of staff, requested to kind of clear the decks. And Scaramucci, it looks like, is now going to go back to the Export-Import Bank, where he was working before. He was also in line to be the ambassador to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development in Paris. We don't know if that nomination will now go ahead, but we do know that he's going back to the Export-Import Bank. What we do not know, and this remains an open question, we hope to find out soon, is does this mean that Sean Spicer is going to stay? The whole hierarchy of the communications shop at the White House Harris was changing. Sean Spicer was going to be elevated to a position of a deputy chief of staff, overseeing both the press secretary and the communications director. When Scaramucci came in a week ago Friday, for that meeting, he told the president that he did not want to report to Sean Spicer. And Sean Spicer saw this as being an untenable situation where he didn't want to be sort of the underling in the communication shop after being with the president so long. So he tendered his resignation to sort of, as he put it, quote, clear the decks so the president could bring in his own team. But now that John Kelly has come in, we have yet another clearing of the decks. So Anthony Scaramucci, whose tenure lasted about 10 days, is out as the communications director, going back to the Export-Import Bank. And again, we will check to see if he will still be in line for that nomination to be ambassador to the OECD, and whether or not Sean Spicer will depart the White House, as was planned for probably about the 15th of August. I talked to him earlier today. He was sort of going to coordinate his departure with some renovations that are taking place in the West Wing of the White House at the end of this week. But all of that may have changed. I'll tell you that I was outside his office, and he was behind the desk on the computer as the rest of the staff were gathered around him. So his position here at the White House still very prominent. It's likely he wouldn't continue to be press secretary. Sarah Huckabee Sanders has been named the press secretary, but Spicer could well stay on as the communications director in the position that he held before Scaramucci came in. It's a very, shall we say, fluid situation, Harris, here at the White House.
And that's John Roberts from Fox News on the lawn of the White House just moments ago. To get some perspective on this from both the Trump camp, because my next guest was the campaign co-chair for the state of New York for Donald Trump for president, and also as someone who works in government here on the local level. He is the city council member from Staten Island, the minority whip in the New York City Council offices. And Joe Borelli, welcome back to the Kevin McCullough microphone. Good to have you.
Kevin, thank you so much. And to give you an idea of how fluid the situation is, as John Roberts put it, in my walk from Times Square to the West Side between two television hits, the narrative of today's news has changed 180 degrees from defending how great of a job Scaramucci was doing to figuring out what happened.
Yeah. Well, in fact, when I texted you to get your perspective on this, you texted back, what? Which was exactly what I think a lot of people were thinking, because the guy only came onto the payroll 10 days ago. But it does appear that, and I think everybody would agree with this, Joe, that there were some pretty unflattering things that not only Mr. Scaramucci said, but things related to his personal life and other things that kind of erupted over the weekend, and I think ultimately did him in.
Right, and I think it would be very tough for General Kelly to come in and attempt to build a team around his now chief of staffhood with someone who would report directly to the president. And that's essentially what the White House is saying now. They issued a statement in the past few seconds saying that the Scaramucci departure was something related to General Kelly's doing. And I'm actually reading Twitter as we do this. You have to forgive the audio. I'm in the middle of New York City. But also the New York Times is now reporting that this was something that General Kelly has done to essentially put people on notice on day one that he is now a vital cog in the chain of command.
Sure. Well, and I don't think you can bring in a four-star general. This is nothing against Scaramucci. I don't think you can bring in a four-star general and have him running the White House, in essence, and saying to this guy that has never really served in government in any capacity. He's always been kind of useful behind the scenes in raising money and that sort of thing, but he's never really had any expertise in this, and say, oh, you get a free pass to the Oval Office anytime you want it. If the chief of staff is going to instill discipline, which is what people think that John Kelly is there for, then you've got to have everybody reporting to him in order for that to happen.
Sure, and although this certainly raises questions now about the hiring practices and the vetting of Anthony Scaramucci prior to him getting on, but it does, in fact, answer one of the questions that media had today, was how much trust does President Trump have in General Kelly, and how much influence is he going to have over decision-making of, very important stuff like the hiring and firing of the communications director. And now all our questions have been answered on that. I mean certainly.
Yeah.
This is an extreme vote of confidence in General Kelly, and it's unsurprising when you think that 4 or 5 months ago, Kelly was given this job at DHS with two mandates: move the ball forward on the wall and decrease the amount of illegal border crossings. And he's been methodical and clinical in executing that. So I'm not entirely surprised at the confidence that Trump has in him in an otherwise day of pretty interesting surprises.
Yeah, actually, President Trump actually referenced that earlier today in one of his appearances, because evidently border crossings are down 80%, and even the government of Mexico has called the White House to say the influence of the American border being, in essence, shut has caused Central American illegal immigration into Mexico to drop significantly as well. That truly is, as the president said, the greatest measure of compliment.
Sure, and if you're looking around the cabinet, at various times, I mean, it's not unique to this president that he has that a president would be at odds with his cabinet members. But you really see that General Kelly is almost a standalone who has outperformed his duties. He's outkicked the coverage on this, and now we see Congress has funded part of the wall. So I think the president, in my opinion, it's a business decision when you think about Kelly versus Priebus. When you have one person performing and one person not, you're going to bump the one good person up the food chain, and the other person has to go. I mean, I think that's almost an episode of The Apprentice, for lack of a better reference.
No, I think you're right, and I think that Reince, he was kind of commonly known as like not even being fully sure of what the president's schedule was, and some of that. And if you're the chief of staff and you don't command the respect to even get the basic data to get your job done day to day, I mean that's going to really not work out well for you. Though the president said very nice things about the former Republican Party leader with him. Friends, if you're just joining us, Anthony Scaramucci is out as White House Communications Director. We are monitoring the White House because the president is expected to step up to the podium and speak momentarily, and we will try to bring you what he has to say. As we suspect he will comment on this in the next few minutes, we will do that. But we are speaking with Joe Borelli, who was part of the Trump campaign here in the state of New York, and of course he's the minority whip for the city council. Councilman, thank you for being with us, and we will stay in touch. Appreciate all that you're doing. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
It's Kevin McCullough. When we come back, comments from the president as we continue live from the White House. That's where the president is, not me. It is Kevin McCullough Radio.
You need a great business website, and you need it quickly and professionally done because you want to focus on your business. The skilled experts at BizTourage will build you a website that'll wow your customers, and at a great low price. Whether you need a new website or you're making over an existing one, call BizTourage at 888-461-4348. For one low price, you'll get a website that's mobile, hosting, beautifully designed, and gets ongoing maintenance. No gimmicks, no headaches. BizTourage websites mean business, and they genuinely care about your business. So call today, 888-461-4348. BizTourage is easy to deal with and understands small business. Get a website that wows your customers along with all the support you need. Call 888-461-4348. No fuss, no headaches, just a great website for your business from BizTourage. Call today at 888-461-4348 or visit BizTourage.com. That's BizTourage.com. BizTourage, because every small business deserves an entourage. Call today.
This is Michael Medved for Townhall.com. As Republicans on Capitol Hill struggle to make progress on health care and tax reform, the loudest voices in conservative media rip the GOP's congressional leadership for their willingness to compromise on drafting legislation. Actually, Republicans in the House and Senate are doing what they need to do to succeed at their jobs, while conservative commentators in talk radio and syndicated columns do what brings success in their very different roles. Congressional conservatives can achieve nothing without support from moderate Republicans and ideally some Democrats, but conservative talkers can maintain ratings dominance by appealing solely to hardcore true believers who make up at most 10% of the available audience. The only way to repair the rift in Republican ranks is for conservative media to alter their strident approach and broaden their base. That process might bring even larger audiences while helping congressional colleagues to build the larger coalitions that constitutional checks and balances require. I'm Michael Medved.
Hi, Kevin McCullough. You know, the last couple of weeks I had several people ask me about just my opinion on what's the best way to lose weight. And I said, guys, if you don't understand by now, when I talk about 20 to 40 plus pounds being guaranteed by my friend Dr. Kerry Skorsky and the Bay Ridge Holistic Healthcare team within 40 days, you're never going to get it. See, the thing is, if you want to lose weight, you need to have both the science and the knowledge behind your plan. And that's what Dr. Kerry Skorsky has. He's helped thousands of people overcome obstacles and able to lose the weight. And how do you know it works? Because he guarantees it. So call today. It's all natural. You rebalance your hormones, you reset your metabolism, you eat only real food, and there are every single thing that you do is doctor supervised. There's no hunger, no cravings, no drugs, no prepackaged foods. You're going to love this program. Call 844-THE-DIET, 844-THE-DIET, 844-THE-DIET. That's 844-THE-DIET, or go to anewyoufin40days.com.
If you're a firm believer that education is a top priority in helping shape our children to be the future leaders of tomorrow, then you'll be excited to know that AM 570 The Mission has developed a program to help parents send their children to the best Christian schools in the area. The half-off tuition program is a way for parents to send their children to school at half the cost of the annual tuition. We've partnered up with some of the leading schools in the New York, New Jersey metro area. This is a great way for parents to reduce the costs and still have their children receive a quality education. AM 570 The Mission is is also offering each school the opportunity to promote their school with a full radio advertising campaign. This is just our way to say thank you to the parents and schools that already know the importance of a good education. For more information, go to am570themission.com and click on the discount tuition banner. Here are just a few of the schools available: Timothy Christian School, Kearney Christian Academy, Trinity Christian School. Once again, go to am570themission.com for a full listing of the schools.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard.
After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because they really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you for free. Call now for details.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code The Mission.
When you need a lawyer you can trust, call the law offices of Dan Buttafuoco and Associates. Call 1-800-NOW-HURT. That's 1-800-NOW-HURT.
Breaking news as it happens. You're listening to Kevin McCullough Radio.
So glad you're with us, Kevin McCullough. For the last 8 years, you just got used to more and more bad news if you were a pro-lifer in America. And you saw rights trying to be limited. You saw people that were trying to expose what was going on with Planned Parenthood. Actually, when they would expose felonies, they were actually the ones that were brought up on charges. And even though that has been overturned in one state, the state of California is still going after some of those what we call jungle journalists. But the idea that this is a pro-abortion country is just really, it's really never been true. But the idea that we have killed in excess of 56, maybe 60 million children since 1973 is also one of tremendous heartache. So it's very interesting to see what the Hill newspaper is reporting on today, in that there seems to be a wave of states that are seeing activity move forward on the pro-life front. And someone that I thought would be good to chat about this is someone who's mentioned in the Hill's article. She is Sue Swayze, and she's part of the Susan B. Anthony's List, which is a phenomenal organization out of Washington, D.C. If you do not know about it, you should go sign up for their newsletters, get really plugged in, because they are on top of this. Sue, it's good to welcome you to the Kevin McCullough microphone. Thanks for being here.
Well, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Sure thing. Now, a lot of my colleagues in talk radio, believe it or not, don't talk about this message much, which is kind of disturbing, given that it's one of the core freedoms of the Constitution. But we are seeing an increase in the respect for life and the right to life across the country. Talk to me a little bit about what's going on in general across the country right now.
Well, I think the pendulum may be swinging back a little bit. Yeah, thank goodness. We have technology to help our millennial generation know that when you see an ultrasound, people are pregnant, they get an ultrasound, and they start showing it off. They put it on Facebook. That's our baby. In my generation, we didn't have all that, and we were able to believe some lies about what that baby was. But now we've got a more pro-life generation than ever in the millennial. We also had a switch politically in about 2010 or so, when the Republicans, mostly Republicans, took over their state houses and pro-life people started getting elected to office. The pro-life movement has worked very hard to elect pro-lifers to make those kinds of decisions on the bills they vote for. And then we started to see a real swing through the states in the since 2010 to increase health and safety regulations. You know, abortion clinics aren't part of the standard medical community.
Sure.
They're separate, freestanding entities. They're not, and I think when women go to them, they think they're going to a doctor's office or a hospital or something that's health care, but it's not. It's
well,
completely separate.
The Gosling case really brought this to the fore, did it not?
Right. It did. It did. And the other thing it brought to the fore, really, besides how grotesque abortion is and how it can really hurt women physically as well as mentally and emotionally, what the Gosnell situation did was also bring to light when a state government or a locality doesn't inspect them, doesn't follow through with the laws on the books. They had the laws on the books, but because they weren't like-minded, they failed to provide oversight to those clinics, and women were killed, as you know, and it was just gruesome. So states who were charged with enforcing these laws, increasing health and safety standards, increasing clinic regulations, letting women know more about the procedure they're about to get, giving them what we call informed consent that you and I get on any medical procedure we get in the medical marketplace, but that wasn't true for abortion. So states have really jumped up to put these parameters around abortion that we would expect, really the way I say it is, we would expect that in today's medical marketplace.
Yeah.
It's still a fight. They fight it tooth and nail, but that has been the first wave. The next wave now, in the last 2 to 3 years, has been to focus on the baby. And I can talk more about that as well.
Well, and in different states, different things are happening, but you're right. The emphasis on protecting the child and viewing the child as an actual human being. You know, the issue of personhood was something that Roe v. Wade left unanswered. But I think, as you were referring to the millennials, they've grown up seeing their siblings in the womb before they were born. Personhood is starting to be something that science is allowing us to determine much earlier. And even if you, at some point can say medically, we can help a child live outside the womb, say at 12 weeks after conception or 6 weeks after conception. At some point, we're going to have to make the understanding and the allowance to say, whoa, that's a human being because it's no longer in the womb. That's always been the argument. It's not a person until it comes out of the womb, which is kind of nuts.
Well,
it's kind of ludicrous.
Yes, it is ludicrous because we know one thing. It's not an alligator. It's not a puppy dog. It is a human being. When a human being gets pregnant, we produce other human beings.
Right.
So we know that, and we've always known it. You know what I mean? I mean, we really know this. And so it's kind of not about that, but I digress. Lately, Susan B. Anthony List, the organization that I work for out of Washington, is the nation's largest pro-life political organization, as well as very active on Capitol Hill. Our top priority is actually the 20-week pain-capable bill, the Unborn Child Pain-Capable Act, that a baby can feel the pain of abortion. It can feel itself being ripped apart at 20 weeks. Now, we know that it's before 20 weeks, frankly, but politically we can't get any disagreement on either side of the aisle at 20. So now we have, it's been introduced at the national level. The U.S. House has passed it. The Senate did not last time. Now that we have more folks elected to the U.S. Senate, we'll try that again, we hope, soon. But at the state level, 20 states have now passed the Unborn Child Protection Act because not just to ban abortion at 20 weeks, okay, that's good enough, but the state has in these bills, the state has claimed a duty to protect that individual.
Well, and that's what we think, that's what we believed, that our basic rights have always included. The basic right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Absolutely.
Sue Swayze from the Susan B. Anthony list, thank you for coming and filling us in a little bit on this momentum. We're going to keep watching and have you back. It's Kevin McCullough Radio. Hi, Kevin McCullough. It's summertime, and I know there's nothing tougher than deciding what you want to put on your grill for that next big barbecue or even for dinner on a weeknight. I've got a perfect couple of products for you to try. The new unmistakable Latin flavor of Campesino Salami Especial and Hamanita Campesino. The Sabal Meat Products are the company that put these out. The Campesino Salami Especial is a favorite blend of meats and spices. Tastes great. It's high in protein, gluten-free. The Hamanita Campesino is also a blend of salami and ham, also delicious and high in protein. They're perfect for grilling, sandwiches, or even salads. You can find these and any other products of Sabal Meats at a supermarket near you, including BJ's, Costco, Jetro, Stop & Shop, and Sam's Clubs. Pick up Sabal Meat Products, and don't forget to listen to my show every Friday to hear the Sabao Meat Trivia Question of the Week, or head to am570themission.com for a chance to win a whole basket of these delicious grilling goodies. Remember, if you don't see their logo from the start, don't put it in your shopping cart. Sabao Meat Products, over 45 years of tradition and quality.
Using the Groupon app, you can save up to $100 a week on what you do every day, like haircuts. Because even if you don't need a haircut, you're eventually going to need a haircut. Unless you're bald, in which case Groupon can save you a lot of money on skincare. The point is, using Groupon can save you up to $100 a week. Getting a massage? Check Groupon. Mani-pedi? Check Groupon. Looking for nearby yoga classes? Use the top-rated Groupon app to save up to $100 a week on what you do every day. Download the app and save. Groupon.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. Every day people ask me, Jay, did I miss out? Have the rates gone up? The answer is no. Rates are still low, and it's a perfect time to refinance your home, especially if your mortgage rate is higher than 4.25%. If you'd like to lower your interest rate and save thousands of dollars in interest without starting over on a new 30-year loan, a Quicken Loans Yorgage is what you're looking for. With our exclusive Yorgage, you can choose a term that works best for you, anywhere from 8 to 30 years. The rate today on an 8-year Yorgage is 3.25%. APR 3.75%. For 7 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation for customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 3rd year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
What would you do with an extra $500 a month in your budget? $500. This isn't hypothetical, by the way. This is something you may need to think about very soon if you decide to become a member of MediShare. MediShare is a way to pay for your health care, and typically it costs $500 less per month for a family versus other health care plans. So seriously, think about this. You could pay off loans, pay down a mortgage, save the money for retirement, donate to charity. That would be a big deal. But you know what? Here's the best thing. MediShare works. It has 250,000 members, and it's growing fast. With MediShare, not only do you save, you don't have to pay for things you don't believe in either, and that is a beautiful thing too. So here's how you can find out more, and you might actually wind up saving even more than $500 a month. So check into it. Here's the number. Call 855-90-BIBLE. That's 855-90-BIBLE. Now available in Montana. Call 855-90-BIBLE.
Pillar College wants to prepare you to become a transformational leader by helping you complete your degree now. With their Adult Accelerated Degree program, one night a week is all it takes for you to earn your degree in psychology and counseling, business administration and management, or biblical studies, no matter how busy you are. To learn more, visit pillar.edu. That's pillar.edu.
To inspire, educate, and equip you.
This segment of Kevin McCullough Radio is brought to you by MyPillow. Up to 50% off on MyPillow.com. Promo code WMCA.
Breaking news, perspective, and your calls. It's Kevin McCullough Radio.
All right, it's Kevin McCullough. Glad you're with us. It is a breaking news afternoon. And if you're just joining us, the news at the top of the hour was that Anthony Scaramucci, as White House Communications Director, is gone. And there's a lot of questions about whether or not this will have, far-reaching impact in terms of how people view the discipline and order within the White House now. General Kelly, who was coming in as the new chief of staff. That occurred because Anthony Scaramucci basically talked the president into firing Reince Priebus. Turns out the new chief of staff not all that impressed with the kind of wild wheeling and dealing of the personality of Anthony Scaramucci, and I can't blame him for that. He was not an attractive pick for me. I thought he was way too undisciplined and very, very much not of the type of character that I wanted to see in the White House. And so that just from that, I was just already kind of soured on the selection. And it looks like General Kelly felt the same way. John Roberts of Fox News said earlier that there is some speculation that Sean Spicer, who resigned in protest over Scaramucci's hiring and having a direct chain of command to the president when normally he would have reported to Mr. Spicer, might in fact actually stay. Cut 2.
Sean Spicer saw this as being an untenable situation where he didn't want to be sort of the underling in the communication shop after being with the president so long. So he tendered his resignation to sort of, as he put it, quote, clear the decks so the president could bring in his own team. But now that John Kelly has come in, we have yet another clearing of the decks. So Anthony Scaramucci, whose tenure lasted about 10 days, is out as the communications director, going back to the Export-Import Bank. And again, we will check to see if he will still be in line for that nomination to be ambassador to the OECD and whether or not Sean Spicer will depart the White House, as was planned for probably about the 15th of August. I talked to him earlier today. He was sort of going to coordinate his departure with some renovations that are taking place in the West Wing of the White House at the end of this week. But all of that may have changed. I'll tell you that I was outside his office, and he was behind the desk on the computer as the rest of the staff were gathered around him.
And I just had a chance to speak with Sean Spicer at our White House broadcast 1 week ago tomorrow. And, you know, he's actually scheduled to stay on through the 31st of August via his resignation. That might all be changing. He had some of the same concerns that some of us had, that Mr. Scaramucci was just not the type of person that would be helpful to the image and to the operations of the White House. And, friends, I don't want to overstate the case on this, but he got named the White House comms director, and then we had our event down there immediately following. And in a private conversation with just a handful of people, he was explaining how he was going to come in and fire everybody, and that they were going to be, you know, effing sorry that they ever did this or that. There was such a braggadocio nature to him, and I thought, this personality's too big even for the president. Like, this is going to be, you don't want to be the guy that, especially if you work for a guy who's already got a big personality, you don't want to be a guy that's challenging the media for that. Then the New York Magazine article came out in which he really ripped some people to shreds in very vulgar, profane ways. And then there was all the discussion about why he hadn't even been at the birth of his son, which happened last week while he was with the president. Just attending a rally in Ohio when he could have been, or at the Boy Scout Jamboree, when he could have easily have been at the birth of his son. These things set off red flags in my head. His priorities aren't right. He's not putting his own life in the right circumstance, in the right list of priorities. And I think that you've got to do that to be a person of character, and the people of character are the ones I want serving us in the White House, serving at the president's pleasure, and even serving us in elective office in Congress. I know it's a pipe dream to get people that are going to always do that, but if you can go one direction, and I think that all of that lack of discipline was probably something that looked very unattractive to a 4-star general. Because let's face it, they don't pin those things on your chest for just doing your own thing. We were talking about the issue of, transsexual serving last week. The military is not a democracy. You don't get to come in and it's not like student council president. You don't get to put Coke machines in every dorm room. If you promise it, that's not the way the military works, by a code of conduct in which everyone submits their individual identity for the good of the unit and for the good of the service. And that's what makes you successful in the biggest tests, being the field of battle. So for him to kind of go down this path, and then for the general to come in and go, that's not what I'm looking for in my staff. Plus, I don't think he wanted somebody outside the chain of command with direct access to the president, as any chief of staff shouldn't be required to put up with. Coming back, it is Monday, and it's time to talk money. David Fischer will rejoin me. Stay with us. Hi, it's Kevin McCullough, and in this economy, wouldn't you like to be able to consolidate home equity with your first mortgage? With Mike and Brian and Intercontinental Capital Group, you can do just that. Give them a call at 800-300-8919. In addition, with home values rising and interest rates where they are, Mike and Brian want me to let you know that you can eliminate your PMI, private mortgage insurance, and they are here to help. 800-300-8919 is their number, so give them a call today. Intercontinental Capital Group, licensed mortgage banker, equal housing lender, NMLS 60134.
If you're a firm believer that education is a top priority in helping shape our children to be the future leaders of tomorrow, then you'll be excited to know that AM 570 The Mission has developed a program to help parents send their children to the best Christian schools in the area. The half-off tuition program is a way for parents to send their children to school at half the cost of the annual tuition. We've partnered up with some of the leading schools in the New York, New Jersey metro area. This is a great way for parents to reduce the costs and still have their children receive a quality education. AM 570 The Mission is also offering each school the opportunity to promote their school with a full radio advertising campaign. This is just our way to say thank you to the parents and schools that already know the importance of a good education. For more information, go to am570themission.com and click on the discount tuition banner. Here are just a few of the schools available: Flushing Christian School, Hawthorne Christian Academy, Smithtown Christian School. Once again, go to am570themission.com for a full listing of the schools.
Hi, I'm Bob Lepine from Family Life Today. For the best Christian teaching and talk and other Christian content accessible easily from anywhere on your laptop, your tablet, or your smartphone, visit ChristianRadio.com. That's ChristianRadio.com.
Here are the official rules for the WMCA Verse of the Day contest every weekday morning. Contestants are prohibited from winning more than once during any 6-month period. Employees of Salem Media of New York, LLC, affiliated companies and agents and their immediate families are ineligible to win. Each morning, we'll give you a Bible verse on the air. When we give you the signal, call WMCA and identify that verse, and if you're the first correct respondent, you win. Winners are responsible for taxes, if any. All federal, state, and local laws apply. Must be 18 or older and live in the continental United States to participate. All participants hold WMCA, its parent company, affiliates, and agents harmless. To obtain the names of contest winners, send an email request to contact@nycradio.com. Complete contest rules are available at the WMCA studios and offices during regular business hours or online at am570themission.com. Want more AM 570 The Mission? Take us on the go with our Listen Live feature at am570themission.com or download our AM 570 The Mission app today. Just go to the iPhone App Store or Google Play Store and search AM 570 The Mission. For a free evaluation of your case, call the law offices of Dan Buttafuoco and Associates. Call 1-800-NOW-HURT. 1-800-NOW-HURT.
It's happening in New York or across the globe. Learn why it matters first on Kevin McCullough Radio.
All right, it's Kevin McCullough. On Mondays, we take a look at what's breaking news. Obviously, and today, a huge breaking news day. This stuff breaking everywhere. We can't contain all the breaking. But it is also time to check in on what's going on with your money, because that is of vital importance to every person listening, and I understand that's one of the reasons why we do this. David Fischer is the CEO of Landmark Capital. And we appreciate them and everything that they have done. I've heard that nearly 100 of you have called and gotten information in the last few months, and you're starting to understand what we have been talking about, and hoping that you find the information helpful, because David takes great delight in providing it for you, and he's with us every Monday. David, thanks for being here. The stocks are up today, but we didn't get a health care bill. It seems to me that they're still going to try to get it done. That could help maybe set the table for tax reform. Where are we at with this?
Well, obviously, we haven't had that happen, and the Dow and the markets in general don't obviously need that, but it would probably be a benefit to the markets, because it shows that we're progressing on getting our financial house in order, and obviously healthcare is a big contributor to that. But, the market's gone up just about a little bit more than gold this year, and that's because we have a great economic environment with the current president. Gold's going up because the dollar's moving down. It's moved down about 10% so far year to date, and they're projecting another 10% in the next 14 to 16 months. So this is good for gold. This is why I can say we're still in the bull market in gold, and still in stocks we're only about 0.5% different in their growth year to date.
Yeah, and that hardly ever happens, but you're right. The euphoria of the potential of what we can accomplish has really driven a lot of this. But one thing I want people to pay attention, if they've been listening to us over the last couple of months, nearly every week, some major fund manager, some major market watcher, some major president of a bank, they've all been talking about how a correction is due. What's the latest on this front?
Well, 3 of them so far, just the last week, predominant ones. There's a handful of others, though. But Seth Kellerman, manages a hedge fund, and he's warning of a 1987 type of market crash with a big drop then. He's an impeccable track record over 30 years. He's had only 3 losing years. So people trust him, and he's averaged 16% per year, keeping in mind the 30 to 50% downturn of a few years there in 2008 and 9. And he's saying we're going to have a 1987 market crash. In other words, a quick one happening, that's unannounced. Another person who is running a hedge fund, about $500 billion, one of the largest in abroad, $354 million. They're saying that the valuations are stretched right now, and there's a lot of policy that's uncertain, which is actually making investors too complacent for the current economic environment. And one last one, we all know who Mohammed El-Iran, but those who are not aware of it, he's a chief economic advisor of Allianz, and he used to be the CEO of PIMCO, so very well respected. He is saying in his recent articles he's raising serious doubt of the sustainability of the current bull market in stocks. So they're giving big warnings right now.
And that just adds to the chorus of voices that have been saying that over the last couple of months. And a lot of them are saying, David, that when it hits, it could be a 10% correction. And when you're talking about a market as big as ours, that's devastating.
We haven't had a 10% correction since 2001. And what's causing some of this uptick is I'm going to probably talk a little about this the next couple of weeks, is that there's a thing called automatic triggers. There's a lot of computer-based trading going on, which is not buying stocks on sound judgment, just buying volatility. So they're actually causing the swings in the market. If they all trade the direction going down, that could just trigger the market correction that they're all talking about right now, just that alone.
So we need to prepare ourselves is kind of the bottom line message. Is one of the reasons why we do Money Monday is to help give information as to how people can help protect themselves. Last week we started a contest, which is kind of exciting. There's a couple of ways you can get free silver from Landmark Capital. They're being very generous with this. If you roll over an IRA or 401k, and the total amount of that is more than $25,000, and if you've been paying into it for a number of years, it probably is, they will send you 10 free ounces of silver when you do that rollover. Or if you don't have that, but you would like to win the 10 free ounces of silver, we've also got the possibility when you go and sign up for the newsletter, which is the free newsletter on the landmarkgold.com website. And then in the comments, it's kind of like a little essay contest. You just enter a few sentences about why owning precious metals is important to you, and you can give any number of reasons why you think that it might apply. But they're gonna take a look at all of those. There's going to be a drawing. We're going to draw the winner on August the 14th. It will be a lot of fun, and I hope that you'll join us for that. Real quickly, David, China has bought a significant amount of gold. Are they still buying it as rapidly as they were, and if so, why?
They own probably around 4,000 tons. One report shows, this is the Central Bank of China, the citizens of China owned about 16,000 tons of gold, plus So why they're doing it, the bank, the People's Bank of China, is that they want to compete with the U.S. dollar. They first announced they'd buy 1,000 tons, and they made that announcement in 2005. They hit that, and they said they were going to do it in 5 years. In 2011, they announced they were going to do 10,000 tons, so they're about halfway there, and they want to do that by 2021. So they got a few years left, and by all occasions, it looks like they're going to hit that. China, literally, that country alone could drive the gold bull market much higher.
And staying on foreign countries, the Euro announced this weekend, the European Union announced this weekend that it's considering bank account freezes. It sounds like the bail-in. Why should we be concerned if governments start to seize money in that way?
Yeah, think about that. They want to stop from people, pulling their money out of a bank called a bank run. And so currently there's a 2-day suspension if the Euro put down the hammer and said you can't withdraw your money for 2 days. They're trying to extend that up to 20 days now. So it's crazy. It just shows signs that the European banking system is not on sound ground. Why would we be concerned? Is that we've learned a lot of the bail-in from Europe, so this might trigger something of the same sort. Of course, we already got the law called the Dodd-Frank Act, which means they don't need another law for this, but this might put some more bricks behind the previous laws, so it's just concerning.
Well, and just think about that, friend. If your bank told you for the next 48 hours you can't pull out any money, you can't get cash to fill up your car with, you can't buy milk or eggs or whatever.
Sounds crazy.
I mean, it's just nuts. And so I don't want you listening to fall into that category. Get the information. The Coming Bail-In is the new is the 6th edition of that resource that David has written, and it is full of great information. But again, the contest, if you go and you sign up for the newsletter, and that doesn't cost you anything, go to landmarkgold.com, sign up for the newsletter, and then in the comment box where you sign up for it, enter why you think 1 or 2 reasons might be important for you to consider owning precious metals, why it'd be important to you personally. I know I could easily list a whole list of reasons, but I'm not eligible to win because it's going to be done on my show. So I can't do that, but you can. You can also talk to them about getting protected against the bail-in. Call 844-604-2575. to find out what you can do. 844-604-2575. Enter the contest, get the newsletter, read the bail-in, and then make sure you're with us when David returns next Monday to discuss what is going on in the markets on that day. David, thanks for the great report today. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Kevin.
844-604-2575.
Tablets is all it takes to make your thin hair feel and look thicker and fuller, guaranteed. Viviscal is the #1 drug-free hair growth supplement in the U.S., with one box being sold every minute globally. It's clinically researched to promote existing hair growth for men and women, and now a 90-day supply of Viviscal is offered in your area risk-free plus free shipping. Call 800-330-6865. Viviscal nourishes thinning hair from within. You'll love your hair growth results, guaranteed. Viviscal is so effective, it's recommended by top doctors. Here's Dr. John Laura.
As a dermatologist, I feel confident recommending Viviscal. It's backed by 25 years of research and multiple clinical studies that demonstrate Viviscal's effectiveness in promoting the growth of thicker, fuller hair.
Want to try Viviscal? Every listener that calls now gets a 90-day risk-free supply plus free shipping. Call now. 800-330-6865. 800-330-6865. That's 800-330-6865.
Want more of AM 570 The Mission and our hosts? Then interact with us. Follow us on Twitter for encouraging tweets, what's coming up on the radio, news from our ministries, deals from our advertisers, and more. Our handle is at AM 570 The Mission. Come tweet with us.
What would you do with an extra $500 a month in your budget? $500. This isn't hypothetical, by the way. This is something you may need to think about very soon if you decide to become a member of MediShare. MediShare is a way to pay for your health care, and typically it costs $500 less per month for a family versus other health care plans. So seriously, think about this. You could pay off loans, pay down a mortgage, save the money for retirement, donate to charity. That would be a big deal. But you know what? Here's the best thing. MediShare works. It has 250,000 members, and it's growing fast. With MediShare, not only do you save, you don't have to pay for things you don't believe in either, and that is a beautiful thing too. So here's how you can find out more, and you might actually wind up saving even more than $500 a month. So check into it. Here's the number. Call 855-90-BIBLE. That's 855-90-BIBLE, now available in Montana. Call 855-90-BIBLE.
what you need to know when you need it. It's Kevin McCullough Radio.
Well, on a day when a lot of news pieces continue to be moving, Kevin McCullough Radio, glad to be on top of it for you. Thank you for being here. We've got our eye on everything, and if you're in the New York area and you want to stick around for a second hour of the broadcast today, that starts about 1 hour after we're done here on our sister station in the New York area, AM 970, The Answer. And if you're not in the New York area, you'd like to get that hour, you can always go to thebenchthinker.com and get the podcast from Kevin McCullough Radio, because we've always got that going on. Some of the stories that we are following for what might appear in that hour is the ICBM missile test that the North Koreans insist upon doing. Senator Dianne Feinstein said over the weekend that the ones that they are testing now, she believes, could go all the way to Chicago. Now, if North Korea can hit our heartland with an ICBM, that's deadly serious. We better be doing something about that. We hope to get some answers as the afternoon progresses. But always appreciate you listening to us and doing what you can to join us, whether it's by podcast, streaming, live on air, live on the stream over the Internet, in podcasts through. I was looking at some of the statistics over the weekend. We've got people listening in nations that don't even speak English that are listening by the dozens on a daily basis, and I'm like, wow, it just blows my mind. But thank you, wherever you're at. We just say thank you. Okay, very interesting study came out, and I don't know how I feel about this because it has a certain bit of reflection on me on a couple of regards. But researchers at Florida State University have observed, when they watched 113 married couples in a recent study and sought to find out how the respective attractiveness of the two individuals affects the overall level of satisfaction in the relationship. So to be clear, they're focusing on how attractive the two individuals are in the study to find out if the partners in that relationship are, in fact, happy with one another. And the study participants answered a series of questions regarding lifestyle choices, specifically a desire to be healthy and in good shape. Concurrently, the couples were rated based off of face and body attractiveness. I don't know how they judged that, but that's part of what they did. Previous findings have shown, and this shouldn't surprise anybody, that men are happier in relationships in which their wives are attractive. Again, rocket science we're researching here. If your wife is attractive, the husband's happier. I know, just blows your. Who would have ever thought that the study would have come to that conclusion? But it also confirmed that women are happier when their partner is less attractive. Now, women who had attractive husbands were more likely to diet and obsess over their own appearance. So to get this straight, if you have a very, very happy wife, and on the other hand, women whose husbands were less attractive were less inclined to be overly concerned about their desirability and generally more content with their body image overall. They didn't have anxiety in that arena. See, I think it's great because as long as this trend is true, my wife will be the happiest woman on the face of the planet. And I even shot the results of this study to a few friends today, all female, and said, does it make sense? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Unanimous agreement across the board. If the husband isn't as attractive as the wife is happier. So it doesn't mean you should become a slob and become much less attractive, but it does mean that she feels a little more comfortable and content in being with you, and in doing so, you're actually establishing a better self-image for her. I think that's a positive thing. I think that's a good thing. Anyway, Kevin McCullough, so glad to have you with us. Thank you for hanging out. It's Kevin McCullough Radio. Breaking news as it happens, what it means, and why it matters every single day.